you up at Corey's, and we'll be in the technical rainforest. It'll be rocky, there'll be tree roots, it'll be single track, and then between now and the next stage of the day, it'll open up into that dry, fast open trails, a bit rocky along the ridge lines. The guys from the mainland liken it to the high country, and then from there into the emu grounds, and then you're onto the beach where it's sandy. So what I used to find with my suspension is that I'd spend a lot of time on the white quartz sand close to where I live, and it was set up well for that. So it was set up really well for whoops and berms, and I really enjoyed that. But then there was a compromise to when we would be up in the technical rainforest with the tree roots, and that it would deflect, and but that was the compromise to it handling really well in the sand. So when I first jumped on the guy that does our graphics, Scotty. When I first jumped on his bike, I jumped on his bike up in the rainforest up behind Wellborough, where my bike typically didn't handle that well, and all the tree roots and the rocks and all the stuff that it was deflecting just stopped, and it was just riding over. It was just like a magic carpet. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And it happened that we were riding a really good variety of trails, so within half an hour we were out towards the east coast, and where Toddy Spilsbury and the Fink guys set up their Fink training loop out that way in the sandy whoopie stuff. So I jumped on it there, and I thought, well, the compromise must be that that's not going to handle that so well that it can't handle the whoops. Yeah. But it was better than my bike in the whoops. So the best thing I find with the suspension is that there's no compromise. It just the terrain can change, from lunch at Gladstone, where we go into this tight first, second gear, almost hard enduro style track for 20 minutes, and then you drop into the Fink training track, which is just like whoops this high. The suspension covers all of that, which has been really good, because that just wasn't an option. You just knew that, I'm going to love this whooped out section, but I'm going to have to just white knuckle it through the tight technical stuff, because you can't have everything. And then at the end of the day, you're not as fatigued. So I can do the tours for a couple of days in a row and get to the end of it and be not in too bad a shape, and can then ride another 3 days, 4 days, whatever, the following weekend. Whereas before, you'd be pulling up a fair bit more fatigued and probably a bit sorer, especially if you're doing a lot more of the rocky rainforest and stuff. So, it's huge. It's good. But it's hard to describe, because people enjoy their own bikes and their own setups, and then what suits one person doesn't suit another. It's hard until I rode it. I was like, right, it's a thing. This is how bike's meant to handle. Well, the videos and stuff, hopefully they lean people into just jumping into it. You want it to work really well on the tar seal, and then you want it to work well on the gravel, and then you want to go and poke it up some kind of technical single track as well. So you're really going to ask a lot of it, and the standard stuff, I had a lot of fun with it. But then when I swapped over, when Corey got his done, initially we were up at Motaero and we swapped bikes, and it was almost like getting back on the 350. It was such a different bike, and could just carry momentum over the rocky stuff, and then everything worked better. The gravel worked better, the tar seal worked better. So, but definitely in where it becomes more challenging and it's rocky and technical, you don't lose drive as much. It's just more fun, and you get to the end of the day, you can punch out 400 k's, and you don't feel completely drained of energy. You haven't had as many puckle moments. Still have a few, but not as many, and it's just more fun.
What about on the erosion mounds and jumps and things like that?
Yeah, well, you're pushing. You know, that compromise between it working well on the road and then you go and jump a 200 kilo bike on an erosion mound, you're going to expect that you're going to be right on its limit and it'll probably bottom out. But with that suspension, it works well on the road, but then you can go and hit an erosion mound, you can kind of jump it with all your panniers on it and it'll work.
Yeah.
You don't feel like, you know, your legs don't feel like you're getting all that residual shock up through your legs. It's done its job, and so it's just more fun. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Mm.